This is my story about a tiny gardening goal. I wanted to grow a year's worth of chamomile tea. On this journey, I dealt with seeds that didn't sprout, babies that dig up gardens, and much more, all in the pursuit of a tea that, frankly, I could have bought off of Amazon for $8. So, was it worth it? Well, you have to decide for yourself. This is the garden bed where I planned to grow my chamomile. I started by raking it out, gave it a good watering, and poked some holes that I could plant the seeds into. This was a mistake. Chamomile seeds are actually really small, and you want to gently press them into the soil, not bury them. After 3 weeks, I realized my mistake. None of the seeds had sprouted. I should not have buried them. So I frantically came up with a backup plan. I would plant some more chamomile in a seed tray. This time, I would sprinkle the seeds. I thought, even if my buried seeds never came up, I'd have this seed tray as a backup. At 6 weeks, the seed tray was doing well, but the seeds that I'd buried in the garden bed, well, they had finally started to sprout too. Awesome. Now, some of my seedlings looked too close together, so I decided to try thinning. This was probably another mistake, though, because the next day it looked like my thinning had caused some damage, especially in the seed tray. By 8 weeks, some of the seedlings in the seed tray had recovered, though they weren't very big. Meanwhile, the seedlings in the garden bed were doing awesome. Turns out my mistake of burying the seeds wasn't critical, it just delayed the sprouting. But there were still some empty spots that were going to be perfect for the seed tray. So I got to work cutting out the squares. I decided to just plant the squares directly into the garden. After all, according to Amazon, the squares were biodegradable. I just needed to give it a water, and then keep my daughter from pulling the squares up. Oh, don't touch that, please. Don't touch that, please. I was starting to feel pretty confident as a gardener. Things were looking up.
Good job, dude.
But then a trip to an Airbnb brought me back to earth. Charlotte, do you see this flower? What do they smell like to you? I think that's chamomile. How are they growing chamomile so good? I was embarrassed. I was working so hard to grow chamomile, and these people just had tons of chamomile growing by itself. And they didn't even know it. I felt like those little flowers were taunting me the entire vacation. And it's just sort of growing here naturally, like the weed it is. So I went home humbled, but still committed to my modest goal. Fortunately, a nice surprise was waiting. All right, looks like I'm finally getting some chamomile flowers. Look at that. The transplants never really flowered, but the seeds were doing beautifully. To harvest, you just grab a flower between 2 fingers and pluck. And I was lucky enough to have a helper too. Just the flower. Good job. Just the flower. What about these over here? Can you get these? Every few days, we'd harvest our flowers. Charlotte, do you want to put them with the other flowers over here? They're over here. Good job. When I watch this footage, it seems like a beautiful father-daughter moment. And it was, though I have to be honest, the majority of the time, she'd get bored and it'd be more like this. Me, by myself, picking flowers. To be honest, this is kind of tedious work yeah. But that's okay. As summer went on, the harvest grew. I was drying the flowers on my counter because I'm kind of cheap. The best way to dry flowers is with a dehydrator. They're kind of expensive. By the end of the season, it was time for me to see how I did. The stakes had never been higher. So this is the moment of truth. Did I actually grow a full year's worth of chamomile tea? Which for me is about 52 tea bags, because I have chamomile tea like once a week. Each spoonful is like a tea bag, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28. Okay, the first jar is done and I'm at 28. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get to 52 though. Let's keep going. 29, 30, 31, 32, 46, 47, 48, oh no, 49, 50. Oh, this is too crazy. 51. Okay, this last serving is a bit of a stretch. But 52, that's crazy. I promise you that was just dumb luck. I didn't even fill this jar, but 52! That means for the next year, if I have chamomile once a week, I'm just drinking my own. Ridiculous. Okay, if hitting my exact goal of 52 weeks seems too good to be true, I don't know what to tell you, but that's seriously just what it came out to. At the end of the day, there was nothing left to do but have some tea. And I knew who I wanted to share it with. That's for you. That's for me. Hey, cheers. What do you think? It's pretty good? Cheers. Oh. Cheers. Hey! Unbelievable!